All right, well, in keeping with today's family theme, it's important to be aware that when you're faced with the challenges of life, to remember to utilize your humor, especially when it comes to dealing with your kids.
That's definitely good advice. Leslie Kuerbitz, a licensed professional counselor and writer of the book, The Misadventures of Jennifer Bennifer, joined us on how to reveal how focusing on the lighter side of life can make for a smoother relationship between parent and child. Jennifer Bennifer, just the cover alone, Leslie, is adorable.
Oh, thank you. And that was Jen, long curly ringlets.
And this was your daughter.
Yes,
so this is how the whole idea about she's a big kid now, though,
right?
She's
a big kid. Yes,
okay.
She's almost 29 years old, and she's going to be she is a doctor. She's Mom, I'm a doctor. I'm not quite licensed yet, but she's a resident at Emory.
I am no longer Jennifer Bennifer, mother.
No, she'll always be Jennifer.
So
yes.
You kind of drew on this experience for humor, but on a more serious note, are you seeing, or how does stress impact kids today? Well, why is it so important that we keep humor in the mix?
Well, for one thing, as stress is affecting us as adults, and also with the economy, of course it's going to affect the kids because they're worried about their parents losing their jobs. But I'm seeing a lot of kids also coming in with different stress reactions, so there can be physical, emotional, cognitive, and behavioral. I'm seeing headaches, migraine headaches, even with the younger children, upset, anxiety, sadness, depression.
Wow.
So it's really something. It has a major effect on them.
Well, we've heard the expression sweating the small stuff and how we shouldn't do it as adults. Are you seeing kids sweat the small stuff?
Yes, because they have no time management skills, really, and they are overwhelmed. If they're in the gifted and talented programs or the advanced placement, they want to be perfect. They don't want to let, their parents down. And so they protect their parents. They don't let them know what's going on, and they're just getting very stressed out.
And with the older kids, that's an issue. Do you find that overscheduling the younger kids creates some of that stress, too? Because there's a lot of kids doing a lot of activities now.
Well, and I think they're doing too many activities. So you might have kids that are doing soccer and piano lessons and art lessons, and then, as I said, having to keep up with their school expectations, their homework. And even some of the older kids are working jobs, or if they play football, they have practice after school. When do they get their homework in? It's a lot of stress.
Now, how does all of this tie into your book, and why did you decide to write the book?
Well, actually, the book was written 25 years ago, the manuscript.
Wow.
My husband, found it in a box of papers that moved from house to house, life to life, and he found it about a year ago, dusted it off, and said, we've got to get this published.
Said, honey, isn't it about time?
Yes. Do something with yourself, right?
Oh, wow.
And it's taken a different twist, but it has the same type of storyline that it had 25 years ago, and that is loving and nurturing your children and being creative with them, because they're certainly going to be creative with you.
Yeah.
And I've also incorporated my little pet puppy therapist in there. As it says, she doesn't have any brothers and sisters, but she has 3 schnauzers.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Shotzi is one, I believe.
Yes, Shotzi.
Shotzi, okay.
And Charlie Jr. and Boo Boo.
Okay.
Now, you talk a lot about using humor to kind of smooth the wrinkles out. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, humor is wonderful because it diffuses tension. It helps to release endorphin. Endorphin also is a feel-good hormone. And humor also gets us to oxygenate, because we're laughing. We oxygenate our blood, we oxygenate our brain, and so we can see things more clearly. So we're not so uptight, which is what adrenaline does when we go through fight or flight mode. And we just relax. And so with Jennifer, there were ways of using humor, for example, when kids are at a certain age, they don't like to bathe. They probably like to run around naked too, but they don't like to bathe. And so we do the old, you're going to grow carrots under your arms and potatoes out of your ears and be a vegetable patch. And then there's also that wonderful teenage age where they have so much on their plate that they don't think about cleaning the room, of course. So there were times I had to close the door, and occasionally I'd peek in and say, okay, just bring the molded plates and glasses into the kitchen, please. Please do that because we're running out of silverware and plates and dishes, and thank you very much.
You can always put a sign on the door that says, disaster.
Beware. Beware.
Hazmat.
Yes, exactly.
Now, humor, a big issue for dealing with stress, and you have some other tips on how to deal with family stress. It doesn't have to be sort of the whole serious discussion.
Oh, exactly. And I think, sometimes parents come home if they've had a hard day at work or they've got difficulty going on, and they walk in and they see clothes all over the place. Make a game out of it, Play basketball. Throw it into the hamper. It's a great way. Everybody's laughing, especially if you miss. And, you know, you just try and get it into the hamper.
And this is how you kind of recommend how to do it, set up fun traditions?
Yes, very definitely. We would do interesting things at Christmas. My husband would have this wonderful crazy Santa hat he would put on, or she would write her little letters that went up the chimney to Santa. Holidays are great for that. And it wasn't unusual that, yes, even I would break out into song. So I would call her up, and it would be, "Oh, sweet mystery of life, at last I found you." And she would just crack up. I mean,
instead of, "Why haven't you called me?"
Yes. Yeah. Oh, listen, when they get to be a certain age, it's, "Why haven't you called me, Mom? Are you okay? Did you dinner right? You
and that's
call
okay.
me."
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, my gosh. Sure it is.
And where can we get the book, Jennifer?
The book is on the Jennifer Pennifer website.
Jennifer Pennifer, okay.
Yes, and it's also on Amazon. But the Jennifer Pennifer website is terrific because I do have a blog on there. And it's going to enable me. I want children to write in their misadventures to me.
Oh, how fun.
I really want to do that because, and I will comment. And, of course, the little puppies are on there.
Okay.
And I give a lot of parenting tips.
Great.
And resources. They're located in the back of the book as well as on the website.
Thank you, Leslie. This is great.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, and thanks for the great tips, too.
Yeah,
do it with humor.
I'm going to try that today.
I'm going to write it in my book, a follow-up to this one called Melissa Panissa.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Lots of tips.